It's gonna show that. Hey, everybody out there in Facebook Live land. This is Kelly DeLucia, Welch team Keller Williams. Today, pending any technical issues, George Pottenkulam and I will be able to share our weekly Ask the Agent market update. Welcome, George.
Yay, welcome to my world. Finally getting to be on here. Last time I just watched from behind the keyboard. So glad to be on here. I'm looking forward to hopefully answering some questions from other people other than just us talking for however long.
I'm sure that people will appreciate hearing a little bit more insight than just seeing me blab on and on and on. So I'm just checking to see if we're having anybody joining in. Hey, Christina. Hey, Kim. Oh, BJ's here too. Glad to see you guys. All right, so hopefully everybody sees our slideshow. This slideshow was really quickly pulled together from a Metro Study report, a lot of information from Metro Studies. So we want to give them credit where credit is due. And then just some, anecdotal information and personal knowledge of what George and I have experienced this week. And how that varies from week to week as we've gone through COVID-related market shifts. So, George, do you have anything you want to add, or we'll just hop right in?
Oh, we can hop right in. I mean, really, it's been really an interesting time over the last month where we stopped and then we started right back within a couple of days. We had already gone to virtual showings, to online showings, and then going back out to showing property fairly normally, especially in this last week, where I think everybody's just gotten tired of sitting at home all day.
Yeah, definitely. I'm tongue-tied right now, trying to make sure that you are showing up as well on our screen, and it looks like you are.
We're talking.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Wade.
Oh, I have a dog.
Yeah. Sounds like Wade in the background. So as you guys can tell, we are still navigating our technology world. And I'll let Wade calm down a second. Looks like we've got a couple other people that joined us too. Welcome. Hey, Tamara. Hey, Kim. All right. So again, brand new information that we just got made available to us. So let's dive right in. Topics for this week in general: what are we seeing with showings? How's our current supply? Are buyers still nervous? Are sellers nervous? I could add that on there. What's going on with financing, and what's going on with the future? So continuing forward, this is very small. I'm sorry if you guys can't see this a bunch or very close up. What I want to show everybody here in this report is our local MLS. So I'm sure George can chime in here about what he's seeing about new listings and the buyer supply demand issues. So George, we're showing here that so far I'm going to annotate this real quick so everybody can see what I'm looking at, that the number of new listings in April, so this is to date. So the number of new listings in our MLS system is a little over 3,000 new listings in the month of April. So the 20 days, or I should say up until, pretty much we've got 2 days left. So we're down about 1,400 new listings in our market. How's that impacted your buyers and their home search?
It's been significant. I mean, if right now, if the buyers are still there looking for homes, and the lack of new listings hitting the market have been pretty significant, to where there just aren't enough homes. There are some buyers that are nervous, but a lot of other buyers need to find a home and want to find a home pretty quickly. So they are still out and about looking at homes, doing showings on a fairly regular basis, but because of the lack of inventory, we're
Oh, I lost you for a second, George. See if George comes back on here. Well, I think what George was going to say was because of the lack of inventory, we're struggling to find homes for the buyers that really need them right now. So we're going to, I'll just jump on in. Hopefully George can rejoin us here soon. But, you know, number of sold listings, this information also is through, oh, George is back. Hey, George.
I'm not sure where I lost you guys.
You paused there when we were talking about the lack of supply, because there's a lack of supply. Buyers are not finding what they want, I'm assuming is where you were going.
Yes, and the ones that do hit the market and are in good shape are going into multiple offers. So the sellers are getting more than asking price, depending on certain areas, even in the higher end market, are still getting over asking price because the inventory is so few right now. So we need more people to list their homes.
I could not agree more with you guys. I would love to see some more sellers put their home on the market here. And I do think we're trending up there as well. One of the things that we experienced on Welch team, particularly over the last few weeks, is a little bit of hesitation. You sellers that are ready, they want to sell their home. Maybe some impacts because they weren't able to show the house because they had kids at home being homeschooled, or they personally were working, working in their house, and they have dogs and cats and fish and whatever it is. And it was just too hard to get, multiple people packed up and out of the home to do those showings. So they were turning to virtual showings instead, which is great. But we all know that, right when that interest peaks, those buyers want to get into and see the home. So the good news is demand is still high. New listings are going back on the market, and those new listings that are going on the market, they're getting offers. And like George said, some of them are going into multiple offers. So let's check out our next slide. Maybe, there we go. Housing affordability index. I'll let George touch on this just a tad. I'll briefly introduce it, but we've seen Jacksonville shows up on the top of all those, where to move, top investment city lists that you see Forbes put out, you see Real Trends put out, Wall Street Journal, whatever it is that you consume your news. Jacksonville's been on the top of those lists for a while now. Hence, we've seen our market grow and grow and grow. And we're still there, George. One of the things, you see, we sit here in the middle of the pack, Jacksonville positive net migration. So more people moving to Jacksonville and Northeast Florida in general than moving away. And we see people moving here. I'm going to pose a little question to you, moving here from cities around the country that might have high interest now in particular, because their current location may be a lot more impacted by COVID than here. So are there any trends that where are people moving from, and why might they still want to be here in Jacksonville, even with all this going on?
Well, and New York, New Jersey is just a perfect example, because we've had, just myself personally, I've had a couple buyers from there either moved down here recently or got stuck down here on vacation and just realized, hey, this is a much better location to live at long term. If they can make the transition work-wise, it's definitely going to work in their favor. And because of all the changes that have been happening and everybody mandated to work from home, businesses are making that change to where they're allowing their employees to continue to work at home for the foreseeable future. I have another buyer that I'm going to be meeting with tomorrow who's was stranded here from California over a month ago, and now her position has been granted 100% work from home. So she is going to make the transition here now, instead of waiting another year or 2 years when she thought she could transition later.
That's a good point.
So that's key. Jacksonville is just a great location. We have pretty much a little bit of everything with beaches, the river, the countryside. It's a phenomenal location, and the affordability just is icing on the cake.
It is. Those are all, I mean, that's perfect examples. People moving here from a lot of those hot cities or very densely populated urban areas where they might want to come to Jacksonville or North Florida area and get in a little bit more suburban environment, especially with everything going on now. I'll take a quick pause. I see that we've got a couple more people that have popped in and joined us here today. So for all of you guys out there that have just joined or tuned in recently, my name's Kelly, Welch team listing agent, and we are here with George today. George, go ahead and introduce yourself again.
I am George Pottenkulam. I am a buyer's agent on the team. So, we kind of handle opposite ends of the transaction, and it's been busy on both sides for the past month for a number of reasons. But we're glad to be here. We're glad to try and explore what we can to better our role in buying and selling homes.
Right. Absolutely. And help assure everybody out there that if you need to move, if you want to move, that's definitely a possibility. We can help navigate you in the right direction. So I want to move quickly to our next slide here. So we just talked about, why is Jacksonville on a lot of those lists? Why do people want to move to Jacksonville? And will that continue? Will we still see people moving to the North Florida region? And here are some of the bullet point reasons as given to us by the recent Metro study is, why do we see these positive trends? And, we can talk about all of these factors here being great drivers for our neck of the woods. Our market has, advantages on everything that we see here listed, tax base wise, education, St. Johns County, number one school district in the state of Florida, parks. A lot of people don't know that Duval County is home to one of the largest local park systems in the country. New companies, employment opportunity. George, you might, a lot of your buyers, you could probably give us some insight onto some of the industries that you see people moving here from. They still have to relocate. We have a lot of finance, a lot of healthcare, military, of course, and construction industry, which is a job creator as well.
Well, in addition to that, I mean, just both St. Johns County and Duval County has several incentives for corporations relocating here to this area. So it makes sense for whether it's small or large businesses to make Jacksonville or St. Augustine or even Orange Park their corporate headquarters, because there are there's so much land available. There's so much opportunity available, and in the location of North Florida or Jacksonville in particular is phenomenal to access. The southern portion of Florida, as well as get over to Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, go west towards Louisiana. So it's a great location. You got all these places within 8 to 10 hours of driving distance. So it's a phenomenal opportunity for people to come out here and look for either continue with the current opportunities or start new opportunities here.
Yeah, it's also true. So if you're watching us from somewhere else, feel free to chime in, ask questions, ask us, what it is that makes North Florida a great place to live. And we can certainly give you some guidance or at least point you in the right direction of the resources that you might need if you are thinking of making that change to moving down to this area. If you're living in another part of town and you want to go from one place to another, what are the pros and cons? We're happy to help you out with that. Switching to talking specifically about sales. So yes, we all can concede that times are different. We have had to make many changes in the way that we go about doing business, and that at first it seemed gloom and doom, but it is not all gloom and doom out there today. Very small on here. You can see right down here, we are on an uptick. So this is our current week right here, so yes, I understand that we're down on the trend line, but we have made some progress week over week. And that's really what we're here to measure, is how is everybody feeling in our marketplace? So George, how have you felt the impact of demand over the last, week or so of time, or even the last 2 weeks, where I feel that we have in North Florida at least started to feel a little bit more of the relaxing of the rules, so to speak, in the environment?
Well, and that's the biggest thing is like as things have starting to get to a little bit more relaxed, people have gotten either situated in their homes for the past 3 weeks before that and realized, well, we don't like our home that much, and want to move forward into something else. This is the key time. A lot of people would hold off on making those transitions till the school year is over, but
Mhm.
everybody's online, so it doesn't matter whether you're living in one community versus another or a different school zone. As long as you do make that transition now, you're good. You can continue everything online. So we have seen a huge uptick in buyers coming back out into the market, continuing to see new listings pop on every single day. It was hovering about 100, 130. Now it's going up to 150 to 190
Yeah.
a day. So it's phenomenal that we're seeing that change, and we're seeing a lot of people request, hey, I've taken a break for the last 3 weeks, I want to go back out and start seeing some homes, instead of just watching everything online, instead of asking for information, or spending 2 and 3 or 4 days considering if a home is a potential option for them. Now they see it, they want to go, now see it online, they want to go see it immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and there are ways to do that safely. Last week I spent a little bit of time talking about how we're, safely showing houses and making them available. I would always encourage everybody, if, take a look at the photos, do a drive-by if you can. Great opportunity to get out of your house for a minute or two safely in your car, but drive by the house, go through the neighborhood, make sure that it's an area you want to be at. And then 99% of the time you'll be able, especially if it's a listing that has just come on the market, those sellers are willing to do safe showings. And virtually we're trying to do as many tours as homes as possible. So, there are a lot of options out there, and there are very little houses. So George is absolutely right when it's like, we're sitting at home, we're tired of looking online, let's go make that jump to an in-person showing.
Yep.
Let's see, we got a couple more people watching, so welcome. Hey Deidre, hey Cece, thank you. I'm Kelly, Welch team, Keller Williams. I'm here today with George.
I'm George Pottenkulam with the Welch team as well. So yeah, we're excited for everybody to be here joining us. And the biggest thing is here, we're starting to see positive trends. And that's what, everybody's been tired of just hearing doom and gloom for the past 3 weeks. It is definitely improving. The world is improving as a whole. And we're just going to have to learn to be a little bit different, but it's going to be much better going forward.
Yep, definitely. I went too far on a slide here. Hold on, guys. I'll fix it. Maybe.
Yeah, but that's one of those things. I mean, looking at the showings, uptick in showings, that's a great one to see, just to see how things have improved, not just in people watching it online and doing the virtual tours and 3D tours, but people going out there and wanting to go look at homes. So that means buyers agents are out there setting up properties for showings. I know our team has been out a lot, not just one showing or two showings. We're out doing 9 to 5 showings back-to-back days. I know some of our agents are exhausted now. I think they just, the stamina has gone down a little bit from sitting at home for a little while, but
gotta get training again.
Yes, we're back at it.
So I think I fixed our problem here. So I just wanted to touch, this is a NAR report, so National Association of Realtors. So this is through April 20th. So about a week lag time from where we are today. So, I think it'd be nice to be able to compare next week, where we are at today versus where this report stops at, which is April 20th. And if you see here, this very last bar chart here that I'm looking at, so this is buyer interest. And you'll notice that it's at early April, so in the blue, early April, buyer interest had declined. If it was a 50% or more interest level, it had declined by 45%. But by mid-April, so by April 20th, that's gone down. So people are now more interested, than they were a week ago, or I should say 2 weeks ago, beginning of April. People are less hesitant, would be a better way to put it. And then the next slide here is, pricing. That always leads us into pricing. And I want George to chime in on what he's seeing pricing wise. I can tell you on the listing side, we are pricing with the mentality of if the home is in good condition and it's priced according to the comparable sales that we have available. So those are sales from the last 6 months. Then the home's going to sell, and we're going to price it in line with that current, available pricing data. And this slide, I believe, really emphasizes that point for some sellers who might be nervous that, oh, if I list my home now, I'm going to have to take a huge discount. We all know that there are buyers out there looking for a great deal. However, in North Florida, that's really hard to come by. We generally, you're seeing at least 98% list to sale ratio. So sellers are getting 98% of what they're listing their homes at. And if you look at this very first column here, pricing expectations, almost 75%, so 3/4 of listings, they haven't lowered their price at all. So George, what are you seeing with pricing?
And the key thing there is being priced correctly. If it's priced correctly, there really isn't a reason for most sellers to have to reduce the price. Now, more sellers may be a little bit more willing to be flexible on terms in regards to maybe offering some closing costs, or to keep the fridge or take out the washer and dryer or something like that. But typically, the buyers are almost getting what they want. Again, it's going to vary from area to area a little bit, but yeah, if you price correctly, you're going to sell your house. And buyers are going to are willing to pay for it, because you clearly see that there's a lack of options when you're in a certain price point and a certain area, especially because those hot areas will sell for asking price, if not more.
Right. No, I mean, condition of the property, price appropriately, you're going to sell, bottom line.
Yep.
And we're seeing that trend continue. All right. So this chart is specific to our area. So our area in Northeast Florida. And this was done by Showing Time, which is Showing Time is how most realtors will schedule showings for properties that are listed on the MLS. And that's how we get feedback and information sent quickly back and forth between all parties, sellers, how is their listing performing? So if we look down here, the yellow line here is the 2020 weekly average in showings. And the purple line is 2019. So going into COVID timeframe, so beginning of March, you can see that we were about, we're about in line. Now, first week of March, end of the first week of March, when everything started happening, look at that drop off. We all know it, we felt it, we lived it. The good news is now we're living on an uptick. And since the middle of April, maybe even the beginning of April, if you want to go back to here, we are seeing an increase in showing. So we're down, 33%. This little marker here is about 33% of where we were last year at this time. But that's huge. We've made 10% gains in just 2-week time frame. And that's very encouraging for us, especially, in this industry. George, have you had any better luck getting showings for buyers out there? Has it been more open to you, should I say?
It has been. I think when we initially started back in early March, when everything came out, there was a definite said, okay, if you do not want to have your home shown, sellers are not required to do so. And I saw maybe a handful of those, but I barely see those anymore. People are more than willing to show their property, again, because I think most people understand that from an agent perspective, if you're working with a professional, we're taking all the necessary precautions as determined by our leaders out there stating, well, keep maintain your social distancing, keep wipe down everything, don't be touching everything. If you're sick, don't go out. A lot of the basic things that people probably should have been doing to start with, but
Okay.
you know what? That's what's happening. And as we get more and more comfortable in that aspect of our daily lives, we are starting to see, okay, it's okay to go out. It's okay to show a home. It's okay to walk out and walk around a property and check it out. So we're starting to see that uptick, which is phenomenal
Mhm.
for the business side of it.
Yes, 100%. I mean, I'm so happy. Obviously, we want to make sure everybody's being, doing everything safely and appropriately in our new normal. But our new normal does allow for, business to happen, and it's very important. This is one of our last slides, but I thought it would be interesting to throw in here. I found it interesting anyways. When I was listening to the Metro Study Report, Myers Research had thrown in some information on which communities are performing well, relative to other communities across the country. So none of our North Florida communities were talked about in this report, but several master plan communities were used as examples of positively trending neighborhoods and why buyers were still continuing to look into those new construction neighborhoods that, some of the builders aren't allowing showings right now, but, new construction over the last few weeks has been viewed as very safe, right? It's by appointment only. People have been going in and one-on-one, so there's nobody in there other than the site agent, their realtor, and themselves. So, builders have been trying to navigate this new world. And one of the cool things that I thought we could take away from the North Florida area is we have several nationally recognized master plan communities that people specifically moved down here for. And I threw a couple of names on there, so I don't need to go over them in depth, but I'd be interested to see, George's take on new construction showings right now versus resale showings. But one of the things about the master plan communities is that now new homes is now associated with, well, yeah, it's nice and new, but it's also shiny and clean. So new homes have that real big appeal for it's clean, which equals it's safe. And then a lot of these master plan communities are, they take advantage of the outdoors. They have lots of space available. Some of our communities here have miles and miles and miles of nature trails, might be connected to a waterway, which you can put in a kayak, a paddleboard, whatever it may be, and really encompass the Florida lifestyle, which is what draws people to those communities in the first place. But now, what a distinct advantage some of those communities may have because of the, positive association potential buyers now have with clean new home, and an outdoor lifestyle means healthy living, and healthy right now is very in.
It is, and one of the key things there also is inventory homes are selling much better than to be built homes, because you do get into it quicker. You're cutting your wait time most times in half, if not less, if they already have inventory homes out there, which a lot of builders do. Almost every builder, with the exception of your full custom builders, will have probably anywhere from 5 to 10 homes that they can say will be ready in less than 30 days. So the walls are up, you get to see what it looks like, what the colors look like, not just the fact that you have a weird name on it, like agreeable gray. So, that is really one of the key things. And the fact that new homes equals clean homes just makes a whole big difference to a lot of people, to say, well, I've been stuck in my, even if it's a 3 or 4 year old home, like myself personally, I moved out from a 3 year old home into almost a 20-year-old home. So I went backwards a little bit, but I mean, it was in a community that made a huge difference in being able to, enjoy that outdoor life a little bit more than the older home. So
Right.
that's just huge.
Yeah, it is. I can't stress it enough. Even though we spent the majority of our time talking about resale and what does resale look like, there are some very compelling reasons right now as to why new construction is extremely appealing to potential buyers right now. If you want to sell your home to get into a new home, what a better time to focus on the inside of your property and what you can do to help get the condition of your home showing as best as possible, because clean home equals a healthy home. And some of the easy things to do, I'll just throw in there, paint, carpeting. If you've got carpet, get that freshened up, get new carpet, get new paint, and it will really help you compete against those other resale homes that can't tout those fresh and clean attributes. We all know that everybody is extremely, if you see a dirty home these days, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody just turned around and didn't want to see the rest of it. We're all so hyper focused on, health, cleanliness, anti-germ zone. So let's see. So we've got a couple other people. I've got the questions tab up here. We'll take any questions. Thanks. Hey, Denise. Hi, thanks for joining us. Hey, Robbie, Carol, what's up, guys? If you want an immediate offer, Keller offers. So a lot of the offer platforms, instant iBuyer offer platforms, have stopped making offers. So Zillow offers, OfferPad, Open Door. You may have seen news articles out there about how some of these companies have started to even reduce or lay off their staffing. So these iBuyer programs offer sellers an opportunity to, so if you're concerned about selling your home right now, you don't want people in, or you just are in a situation where you would prefer to get an offer with the least amount of hassle, there is an iBuyer program out there that we're associated with, which is Keller Offers, and we can certainly get work up an offer with Keller Offers for you for your property that will offer you the advantages of a closing at the time of your choosing, and no fix up, no showing, no effort needed in that process. So if you feel that that's something that you might be interested in, at least seeing what an offer might do for you and your bottom line, let us know. George, anything else? Do we have any other questions out there? I don't see any right now.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's come up with questions, but one thing I forgot to mention on when we were talking about new construction is pricing has not changed on the new construction side of it, which is kind of a key indicator. If they're not reducing pricing, there's no reason for the resale properties to have to reduce their prices either. Right. So if you happen to be in an area or in a community that's still being built on, this is still an excellent time to try and sell and either upgrade your home or downsize if that's what you're looking to do. Right. So yeah, and tons of inventory still. This is the time of year that we typically see the most amount of inventory out there because summertime frame, people are moving around. So if you guys need a home now, it's plenty of options.
Sorry, we have a little bit of background noise over here. I hope you guys didn't hear that, but I am very happy that we were able to join you guys here today. If you guys ever have any questions, we're here to help. We want to be the resource for everybody out there in the community. And, if it might not be right now that you need this information, but if you do in the future, please let us know. It's always better to start planning instead of having to wait until the last minute and then try and get everything accomplished at one time. So even if you just have questions about something about a community that you're interested in, or, hey, what's my home worth? Let us know. We are here to help. There's no obligation on anybody's end. If you want to see any of the slides that we shared today, shoot us a message, send us a DM, welchteam.com, www.welchteam.com. Again, my name's Kelly. And it was a pleasure to be here with you today. George?
Yes, thank you so much for joining us today. My name, again, is George Pottenkulam. said, I'm one of the buyer's agents here on the team. We'll look forward to trying to help somebody find their dream home right now. Because really, if you want to get started into finding a home, there's no time like the present. So give us a call. Let's see what.
All right. Well, thank you guys. We really appreciate it. We'll be here next week, same time, same place. Bye.